1 month ago, right before the latest decline in this wave C, I have shared with you the favor to continue to lower prices in the case of iron into this white support zone that sets up this stock to make a move that most people would not even believe to be possible. This is only from a small time frame perspective, which by itself could generate substantial returns. But if we are to zoom out and understand the larger context, we understand that there are only really a couple of options that would still expect higher prices in the case of this stock. Either we would have a larger impulse information, right? A 1, 2. Then since this cannot be a wave 3, it would have to be another 1, 2. And this would now build a wave 3. This would imply extremely high returns. But even if it doesn't work out within this pattern, if it is to extend higher, I believe the other option to follow would imply a larger leading diagonal, in which case this would still be a 1, 2, and this would remain a wave 3. But within the wave 3 itself, we would instead only be looking for an A, B, C structure. In either case, we can expect very generous returns if this setup is to work out. Generally, much more than what we would expect only looking at the smaller time frame perspective, at the smaller time frame 5G move to the upside. Welcome to the trade setup. Now, to be clear, even if this manages to build a wave 3, it's not going to be a straight line up. I would still strongly expect this to build a 5V move to the upside and then build a higher low within a wave 2, building another 1, 2 set up within a much larger wave 3. But the proportions this could extend to would far exceed any expectations most people would have for such a stock. It could very well be the case that we will build a 5V move up, we will have this as a wave 1, and by the time this is done, the AI bubble might burst. We would see the large decline, the wave 2, and that could imply a pretty substantial drop, let's say from $175. We could easily see a retracement as deep as 70%, without even affecting the overall expectations for this pattern. It could even take some time, it could take a few years, but once these companies would have been reevaluated, and when the AI sector will finally deliver on what it is promising today, we might see the continuation of that uptrend. Now, fortunately, today, it doesn't matter which of these outcomes it is to play out. We are strictly watching an internal trade setup, where I expect to see a wave 3 form and take us to potentially quite high prices. So, in the previous update, I have shared with you this exact area of support. I was assuming a wave 1 would have topped here, and with the current low, the ideal target for the wave 3 would be $117. Now the question is, has this correction formed a bottom? Well, the truth is, it is still quite early to tell. Right now, I can notice that it has pushed nearly into the last level of support, the 78.6% retracement. So we are already looking at extremely favorable risk-reward ratio, because even if I were to buy at the current levels, let's say, and I want to manage this trade from a larger time frame perspective, let's say I allow a retracement as deep as $34, right? It's about a 13% drop. Well, looking at the potential for this move up, it is already a near 200% increase that we could be looking at within this wave 3 from the current levels. Well, this is amounting to what seems to be about a 1 to 15 risk-reward ratio, more or less. I did that on the top of my mind. It seems to be more like 1 to 16. Can you really frown upon a setup that provides a risk-reward ratio such as this one? Kind of hard to do, to be honest. At least to me. Maybe not for you. This is not financial advice in the end, so you will have to make your own conclusion. But the way I see it, it's an extremely promising opportunity, and it is ready for us. So in the small time frame, I am looking at this wave C to build a 5-wave pattern. This would be my first opportunity to look for a bottom. Within this structure, I am looking for 5 waves to potentially be in. So from a larger time frame perspective, the expectations have already been fulfilled. But if we are to zoom in, we start to notice maybe some issues, as within this wave 3, I would probably lean into the idea of an impulse, in which case I would expect to build at least a 5-wave pattern within this orange wave 5, and unfortunately, it appears we only have 3 waves down within the 5th wave in orange. It's not even clear at this point if the wave 3 itself is complete, and I could be looking for the wave 1 to have bottomed in this latest low, for this to have been the wave 2, in which case the wave 3 would actually need to extend even beyond the last level of support. Now, this is not the only option. Of course, I can actually consider that the wave 1 would have bottomed here. This would have been the wave 2 top, and then this is an ABC within a wave 3, and then I only need a 4th and a 5th to complete this structure, this wave 5, within an ending diagonal. Now, we are already starting to consider that maybe this correction isn't quite complete. Very much a realistic possibility. And I can already tell you right now, we cannot know at this point in time whether the correction is complete or not. I just wanted to highlight that extending to lower prices is still very much a realistic possibility, but at the same time, I have to be ready for a bottom to be in, because while I might prefer an impulse within this white wave C, an ending diagonal is another option that we could still consider, and in that case, the wave 5 would have an A, B, C pattern information, and if you remember from a moment ago, this supposed wave C has reached the 100% extension of that supposed wave A. That is the ideal target for the wave C. So from this perspective, a bottom could be in, we could be looking for the reversal, and if I am to zoom in, with what little trust we can have in this structure, I might prefer that this is a 1-2. I might prefer that it had built the first wave up, it might have built the second wave down, and it could be building its first 5-wave move to the upside. Now, as I was saying, we cannot know this at this time, but for now, especially given the pre-market price action, it is going to be rather important to hold the internal lows around $38.20. Now, in terms of resistance, what I would certainly be watching out for would be for this possibility of an extended ending diagonal where we need to break $40.90, the 61.8% retracement, and until that happens, the risk of continuing to lower prices is actually decently substantial. But this could certainly form a bottom without getting a sustained break below the last level of support. Even if it does get a brief break below it, below the 78.6% retracement, it can still remain a valid setup, and it can still be considered that the levels of support have not been broken. Now, before we end the video, I do want to leave you with one more thought. This structure, unfortunately, allows an additional interpretation. It is possible that the wave 1 would have topped here, and we are looking at an expanded flat correction within the white wave 2. This would have been an A, B, C pattern, in which case, within this as a larger wave C, only the wave 1, 2 would be complete, with the wave 3 actually needing that one additional low, and then we would still expect a 4th and a 5th to complete this correction. Well, one positive thing to come from this is that the area of support would be able to allow a bit more of a retracement down to $36.30, in which case it could actually still work out. It could still hold the levels of support while building even the internal low, and then that larger correction, larger wave 4, and then that one additional low. It could still be the case that we will not see a sustained break. I do not know which pattern will play out at this point, but I do know that even in that case, I would expect a decent move up to occur before we form that last potential wave 5 once we have the internal wave 3 complete. This is not going to be my preferred interpretation, the interpretation that I will focus on, but I will be looking for a potential bottom, I will be looking for additional signs of a reversal, and the way I see it, great opportunity is available today. And this is about it for this stock, but if you want even more from me, you can check out the Patreon. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoyed the content and want to support it directly, check out the channel membership, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.